Greetings Boffins and welcome to the Boffin Lab. I'm Old Man Triton and today we're doing a nano guide on how to scan in Star Citizen. So many of you are wondering why you would need to scan in Star Citizen. I'm a combat pilot, I don't need to scan, that's only for miners. No, that's not true. You can use scanning to find enemy ships that are just outside your radar lock range. You can also use scanning in a number of contracts such as illegal monitors. However, the most likely people to want to know how to scan are miners, and there are two things that they're likely to want to find. Either ore deposits or crystal deposits. Now, in order to scan, it uses the same mechanic whether you're looking for a rock or a ship or a crystal. You hit V for Victor to go into scan mode. It does not matter what flight mode you're currently in order to go into scan mode. You can be in the quantum flight mode or in your standard flight mode. You can always go into the scan mode. Two little crescents appear in your field of view. The left one is signal. The right one, I don't actually know what the acronym means, but we seem to think in the community that it refers to how narrow the beam is with your detection radar. So what you do to start off with is you make sure you use your middle mouse wheel to scroll all the way down and make the pierce at 0%. That appears to be a 360-degree scan, and you use tab, hold and release to scan. Then you look around. Scan in a few times and there's something on the horizon. Now, I deliberately did this in the dark so that you would be able to see it very easily. The cloud of bubbles indicates the rough position of a possible signature, and the unknown marker says there's something out there. Notice that the signal strength has gone to 100%. It thinks that there's something out there, and up in the top right corner it says visible. I'll just ping again. RS signature, and gives a number. As you get more experience in this scanning, those numbers are going to mean something to you, but to begin with you're going to have to work on just persistence and getting familiar with it. The problem you've got to face now is that you're using a very weak scan that is directed all over the area. What you want to do is fine-tune. Roll the mouse forward one click and it goes to 50%. Scan again. And the position of the unknown moves a little. You've refined your search. Roll the mouse forward again, the pierce goes to 75%, and you pulse again. And the position is refined even further. Keep pointing towards it so the signal strength is at full. Roll your pierce forward again with the middle mouse wheel. Pulse again, and the position changes once more. Keep doing this until you've got a firm lock on the position, that little teardrop symbol in the distance. Now, the signal strength has dropped to indicate that you've only got a rough idea of what's out there, but you can find out a lot more about it as you get closer. Now, in order to reacquire the lock, you need to wind back the pierce and pulse to find the location. I'm going to zip over to that location very quickly and show you what we found. As we approach, we find another signal in the distance, but we've got close enough for a new marker to appear. This is the marker for a mineable device or node down there on the surface. I'm going to hit my lights so we can see it. It's a rock. It's basically just a big ore deposit. I have a new scan target. It's over in that direction. We roll in the details, increase the pierce again, get better zoom on it, and now we see a cluster of teardrops that are not close together. That usually indicates a cluster of ordinary ore rocks, or at least ore rocks that may contain anything from tungsten to gold and quantanium. As you get closer, you might actually see that there's a purple marker down in the bottom. That is an excellent example of what you're doing when you're scanning for other things, because that's not what I thought it was. It's a rock still. I thought it was a ship. Let's get closer and find out. Seem to need to get very close to scan one of these rocks. I'm going to hold down the scan button. The outline goes yellow. That seems to indicate that it's scanning it. And it tells me the concentration and details in the top right. Those tell me that this is a taranite rock, and taranite's one of the top 4 minerals you can get. There are 5 other rocks in the collection, and you could scan them individually. In this way, a fast-moving scout could help miners locate materials long before their sluggish mining equipment can actually reach them. If you're hunting crystals, your best altitude is going to be between 1 and 1.5 kilometers. I'm deliberately using a Cutlass Black for this operation because this is probably the first vehicle people will hire to do ground mining, and they'll be looking for crystals in it. I've noticed that the Cutlass Black seems to be only able to detect crystals at about 2.5 kilometers, and it depends on how good they are at doing it. Now there happens to be crystals just in front of me. There's the unknown marker. They've shown up at 500 meters. I zoom in with the pierce and get a more defined location. Zoom in again and again and again, and suddenly I've got a very tight cluster of teardrops. Now this is the indication of a cluster of crystals. They're very closely packed together. Now they're physically hard to see until you get very close to them. Okay, there they are. They've come up on the screen. These ones actually look like very small crystals. So how high am I off the ground? The ground is actually a lot closer than the altimeter actually implies. Mouse over one of the rocks so it glows, and roll the pierce all the way up to full. Get as close as you feel safe, increasing the signal as much as possible. Hold down the left mouse button and scan. Well, you might need to get closer. Change rocks. That's better. It's doing the scan progress thing and steps through. Unfortunately, the interface is just a little bit buggy. Alright, we're going to get closer again. I'm really risking the ship here. Signal strength's at 81% now. Okay, 83%. I hold down the left mouse button. scan progresses, and now it tells us that it is up in the top right corner. It tells us it's a hadronite crystal, and it's probably a small one by the look of it. So this is how you find crystals in a Cutlass Black. You will have to be very careful and travel reasonably slowly to spot them, because you're going to spot them at between 500 and 2.5 kilometers. We've flicked to another situation, and I am approaching a ship that I have spotted abandoned around Port Tresla. I'm going to show you another function of the scanning system. At the moment, the signal strength is at 80% and climbing, and if you look closely, the ship I'm approaching is slightly highlighted in purple. I've increased the pierce and got closer. I don't even know what this ship is at this stage, but yeah, it's highlighted in purple. When my cursor is over it, it looks like a little fighter of some sort. But we'll get closer. No, actually, it might be bigger than I thought it was. But we're inside no, it's a C2 Hercules or something similar. Alright, so this is actually going to be very useful. If I hold down the left mouse button while I'm close to this target, it's going to give me information after it's done its scan. Holding the left mouse button down starts the scan. And it fills the information on the side with a great deal of useful data. Now, I don't know how to scroll through that data, but it's got Colossus bombs. This is not an C2. This is probably an A2. Yeah, let me just target it to check. Yes, it's an A2, which means that it's quite an offensive little ship. Quite, well, certainly not a little ship. It's a very big ship, but it's got a lot of guns on it. But one of the things that you will get as information in that side is the cargo manifest. And that is useful to a lot of pirates and a lot of people doing bounties. You can do the same scan on a ship that you are shooting to work out whether they've got anything worth having or taking. And that is why even combat pilots need to know how to scan. That's the basics of how to scan for minerals in particular, but it also works with ships and gun batteries and illegal monitors and various other useful equipment you might find in space, including salvage. You will find more details in my later videos. However, for now, good hunting and have fun in space.